I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles.
So I'm also announcing today that we will take the extraordinary step of introducing emergency legislation.
The right kind of childcare at the moment when both he and his wife are about to be incapacitated. That I know that even if things can sometimes seem
taxes are going to rise. And there's talk, of course, of property taxes, which will collapse the housing market, especially in London and the South East, but it'll do great damage elsewhere in the country. Top rate tax, I've no doubt, will go up. And all of these things are happening for a man that has no mandate whatsoever. On immigration, he's never shown the slightest concern about what's going on. And of course, do we think Andy Burnham will take us out of the ECHR so we're back fully in control of our borders? Not a hope in hell. Nothing will get better under Andy Burnham. But the real key, I'm going to come back to it, is he wasn't elected on the 2024 manifesto. He says he wants to have the biggest change of direction in politics in 40 years. Outside of 25,000 voters in Makerfield, he has literally no mandate for this at all in what is supposed to be one of the world's best and oldest and most functioning democracies. And frankly, I think that the British public have had enough of this game of musical chairs that is taking place in Downing Street. The only good and decent and right thing to do, given where we are, with a new Prime Minister coming in, that none of you have had the opportunity to vote for or against, is there must be an immediate general election so the country can decide the future.
Well, Andy Burnham, I think, will be Scotland's 7th Prime Minister in 10 years when he comes into office, which I think tells you something about the instability we've seen from the UK government, regardless of party, over the past decade. That's not been good for Scotland, it's not been good for the UK. But look, Andy Burnham's coming in, he's promising that he wants to work with the devolved government, so he will find in us a willing partner, and we will take him at his word and work with him in good faith. He also wants to take forward a programme of devolution. So we, of course, in Scotland have the most experience of devolution. We've got lots of views on that, and we support further devolution. But the greatest devolution, of course, we could have to Scotland would be independence. And we believe in Scotland that the people should have a choice over the future of their country, and we have returned, the people have returned rather, a majority of independents supporting MSPs in Parliament, the largest number ever. And we think that now is the time for the UK government to recognise that and grant the Scottish people a referendum. So the Prime Minister will meet with the First Minister next week, and we look forward to working with the UK government, but recognising, of course, the democratic rights of the Scottish people.
My prediction is there will be another Prime Minister before 2029. I think Labour have now got the disease the Conservative Party had of thinking the issue is with the team manager. I'm not saying Keir Starmer's a genius or anything. I'm just saying that he's not the only problem. And I think that they will tire of Burnham. They will tire of Burnham, and they will bring somebody new in, and they will lose.
Angela Rayner.
No, the Labour Party don't believe in women leaders. They're not going to have her.
I think, I think it's all a bit of a mystery at the moment. It's a bit of a pig in a poke. You know, what's it going to be? He's the man-scarred Mancunian, mystery. We don't know what exactly he's going to pull out of that. I do worry about a lot of the things I'm hearing, right? I do worry about some of the economic chatter I'm hearing. I think that the idea that Britain can be mulcted for more tax is really going it. You know, loads and loads of people have already left this country loads of wealth. I just think you need to be very careful. And I think he's got to get his skates on, is my advice. He's got to get his skates on. He hasn't got much time.
This is a total humiliation and embarrassment for the government. Yesterday, they published an emergency change to government business in order to ram the Hillsborough law through this House with no notice and an absolute minimum of scrutiny. Now they have backtracked again on their own business and cancelled the opposition day, which they themselves had scheduled. Now, why is that, Mr. Speaker? Let me read the motion that caused so much consternation in the Whip's office and in number 10, that this House calls on the government to bring forward a motion to change the date it adjourns to Monday, 20th of July, to enable the new Prime Minister to make a statement about his plans for government. In other words, the government changed the business. It refused even to delay the activity of this House by one day in order to permit the Prime Minister, as he will be, to take a statement and to answer questions as to his intentions and plans. The government has a majority of more than 150, Mr. Speaker, and it could not trust its MPs to vote the right way on that motion. And it could not bear the idea of a new Prime Minister facing any scrutiny before September. A Prime Minister, let me remind us all, who has been chosen by a coronation, not a contest, with no known platform, almost no known policies, and no idea of his priorities or indeed his cabinet team. They pushed us, Mr. Speaker, to take an opposition day tomorrow. They cannot bear the scrutiny, and now they're cancelling it. And to do so, hiding under the, I'm afraid, thoroughly distastefully, under the news, the very distressing news that's happening in Iran, when they could have framed a statement today from a minister or tomorrow on this issue, is, I think, completely disreputable. They're not even cancelling it, Mr. Speaker, for legislation. They could have kept the Representation of the People Act. They're cancelling it for a general debate with no votes. Mr. Speaker, it's the worst possible exit for a Prime Minister, the desperate attempt to create a legacy as though this could alter 2 solid years of failure. And it is the worst possible start for a new Prime Minister. People across this country will see what has happened, and they will conclude that this is a man who is fricked, running scared of public scrutiny, before he can even take office.
So my challenge to Andy Burnham, as he makes the critical decision about what kind of Prime Minister he wants to be, is this: be bold, be brave, fix the broken electoral system by introducing proportional representation, to give everyone an equal vote and an equal voice in our democracy, and make sure no politician or political party can afford to take them for granted. And do it now. Don't wait until it's too late. Don't wait until after the next election, when you might be powerless to do anything about it. Because I fear that with so many people already so angry and disillusioned, with a political landscape already so fractured and chaotic, and with people already having seen their votes wasted and seen a new party come to power, but nothing really changing, I fear that our democracy simply cannot bear another general election under our broken voting system.
I don't think that Vladimir Putin is going to be worried about Nigel Farage. And I don't think he's going to be worried about Andy Burnham either. Putin doesn't care how nationalised your buses are, and he doesn't care whether number 10 is in Manchester or London. What Vladimir Putin is interested in is whether Britain can defend herself or not. At a time when we need serious leadership, there is only one party acting with any common sense. There is only one party with a plan to keep Britain safe, and that is the Conservatives. Keir Starmer had plenty of good advice, not least of all from me. But I wasn't the only one. Many others gave him good advice, including Tony Blair. Did he listen? No, he didn't. And now he's gone. Andy Burnham should not make that same mistake. I would be very happy to sit down with him. I quite like Andy Burnham. He's very genial. He's very personable. I would be very happy to sit down with him, show him our plans. They are public. Share with him the alternative King's speech we set out at the beginning of this session that shows how a lot of this could be achieved. In the national interest, I would be happy to lend him Conservative votes in Parliament to pass tough legislation that his backbenchers don't have the stomach for. No one in this country wants a Prime Minister held over a barrel by a load of left-wing MPs. If Andy Burnham wants to be the first Labour Prime Minister to leave office with unemployment lower than when he came in, he needs to get a grip of the party he is already leading. He needs to put an end to the chaos and the speculation. Mr. Burnham is clearly desperate to be in charge, but Prime Minister is not a ceremonial position. He doesn't have a plan beyond telling mayors to go and sort it out. This is not good enough. There is a country to govern. Devolved mayors are not going to fund the Defence Investment Plan. He needs to come to Parliament, tell us what he wants to do, and face some questions from MPs, the people elected to hold the government to account. Giving speeches in Manchester and not taking any questions is simply not good enough.